Thank you. And I'd like to take a personal privilege and ask the students that unveiled this to come back down and join me for my talk today. I'm very focused on the importance of students being represented in the decisions we make in education today, and I could not be more proud. And you need some more press time. Well, look at it. Come on, girls. I'm safe, I promise. Come stand over here next to these big guys. I am really pleased to be with you today to represent the State Board of Education and the entire education family of this state, because it is a milestone to think that we're headed back to the moon, Tim. I'm elated to know what we're about to do, but most importantly, to focus on this new era we live in, this 21st century global environment that we need to be very focused on, that the children that we're preparing in Alabama schools understand exactly what their role is in the future. And it's so encouraging to see that these two young men have taken the academic learnings that they've had at their high schools and at the Huntsville Center for Technology and found a way to apply those to a real-world situation, a real-world problem, and come up with a solution to that will take us back to the moon. How exciting can that be? And I'm so glad these young ladies are with us today, because you're going to be part of this history too. Because what you see these two guys do, we're going to expect you to do the same thing in a couple of years, or now if you're ready, to help us prepare for the future in STEM education. I'm also very encouraged to see the public-private partnership that's represented here today. Too often, education and business and industry and nonprofits function in isolation from one another, and look what can be done when we leverage all of those efforts together to make something remarkable happen like today. So I couldn't be more excited. And then to think that fourth graders in this state, across this state, are about to be part of this exciting event. There are 65,000 fourth graders in the state of Alabama right now, and every one of them are about to have a piece of history in being able to be part of naming the lander and understanding even more about aerospace and the future of space exploration. And we could, just through this experience, be finding those scientists and engineers and future astronauts that are lurking around in fourth grade looking for a purpose in life. So we're so excited to be part of this partnership, and thank you for the work you've done and what we expect you and all your fourth and third grade students to do in the future. Thank you.
Edith Parton is an award-winning media and marketing specialist who started out in radio news reporting, then moved to television, where she worked in news, promotion, and marketing. Now she works for the Alabama Tourism, and she's doing a fantastic job. Edith?
Thank you, and it is quite a pleasure to be here today, and I think on behalf of our State Tourism Director, Lee Centel, I'm sure that he would share my sentiments if he were here. This is some very exciting stuff, don't you think? We are thrilled and excited to be a part of this project. And thank you, Rocket City Pioneers, for allowing tourism to be a part of this project. Now, I was talking with Mr. Hickman a few moments before we began, and he asked me, he said, what's the #1 tourism attraction in Alabama? I said, well, from my standpoint, because I'm going to explain, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. And I say that because the reports come out every year, and the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail is always #1. But you have to think about it. They have 11 sites. This is one site. In 2010, because we don't have our 2011 numbers yet, a little over 540,000 people visited the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. Just 1,000 more people visited the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail 11 sites. So yes, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center is the #1 tourist attraction in Alabama. And I don't know if you know this or not, but tourism in Alabama is a $9.6 billion, with a B, billion-dollar industry. And this project that the Rocket City Pioneers has going on will only propel that even more. because of the international recognition that we will get from this project, I think we'll have tourists saying, we want to come to Alabama, we want to come visit Huntsville and see where this was all made possible, where this lunar lander, the winner, and the people behind it, how that was made possible. So, and with that recognition, not only will the U.S. Space and Rocket Center benefit as an attraction, I think Huntsville will, and therefore, when they come to Huntsville, us in tourism will grab them and keep them here and show them all the other great destinations and things that we have in this great state of Alabama. And I will end on a note, one of my favorite sayings, that when you call our office at 1-800-ALABAMA, our receptionist, who is, I think, the best in the world, Charlene Anderson, and I encourage everyone to call just to hear her lovely voice. But she is our front line, and she is the reason I came to work at tourism, because of her voice. But I will end on what she says each and every day. There could be tornado mornings. It could be beautiful sunshine. But on a day like today, it's especially true. It is indeed a beautiful day in Alabama.
Thank you, Edith. I suspect in the future, after the Rocket City Space Pioneers wins the Google X Prize, that this little baby over here is going to be one of the major displays and big attractions for the state of Alabama. Mayor Tommy Battle is only the 7th mayor in Huntsville's long history. That shows a lot of stability for the Rocket City, I have to say. In Mayor Battle's first year in office, the city of Huntsville was named the #1 city in America by Kiplinger's Personal Finance for 2009 and received a historic AAA bond rating by Standard & Poor's, the highest bond rating given and the first in Alabama state history. We're very proud of Huntsville's Mayor, Tommy Battle.
Edith, I have to say you are right. This is the #1 tourist attraction in the state of Alabama. We're very happy to say that. And, you know, you're just seeing right here, you're seeing a sequel. Homer's here, and it's a sequel to his book, Rocket Boys to the Moon. And it starts with the Huntsville Technology Center and what they're doing in putting together a lunar landing, lunar lander for the moon. What an amazing thing to think about. Our high school students are coming out and doing that. This town has its history built on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We've written some of the history books off of what we've learned off that. And today we're about to take the next step. We wrote past history. We wrote about going into deep space, going to the moon, coming back, and now we're writing the second chapter of that history where we're taking a lunar lander to the moon, and we're doing it starting with high school students sitting there from Huntsville Technology Center. To each of you who are connected with Huntsville Technology Center, I say congratulations. You are writing history for the world, and it's something that you will never forget. But you got to remember, Huntsville Technology Center has been doing this time and time again. If you've ever been there, you've been in there. You've been in some of the things they've done. A hovercraft. You might sit in a hovercraft and you go around in the hovercraft. They're building a solar car right now, and they're working on going into competition in London, in England, and they're representing the United States with a solar car. So we have kids here who know how to do things that nobody else in the world knows how to do. And so I'd say right now, you got your sequel to your book, and if anybody saw the movie the other day, Smile as Big as the Moon, how many saw that movie here? What a great movie. But if you remember how they started off, how he started off his learning with his class, he made a board game. And I guess we could say that we were going to make a board game here about how to get to the moon. And each of you are going to have a piece of that puzzle and put that board game together so we can figure out how to get to the moon. And I was thinking, what a great thing. We could have a board game and name it How to Get to the Moon or To the Moon. But then Tim trumped me when he said that we got an Apple app that does it nowadays, so you don't even need a board game anymore. But this is one of the greatest things. Our fourth graders throughout the state of Alabama will remember this forever because this is their chance to tie into the history of man going back to the moon. And they're having their chance to name this. The science, technology, engineering, mathematics is what's made Huntsville a place that is in the history books and will always stay in the history books with what you've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. It was a great movie the other night. Of course, I have to say that Mike in the movie was played by John Corbett, and Jake Gyllenhaal played me in the movie. Which, by the way, for all you young ladies, I actually apologize for not being Jake Gyllenhaal. I always see a lot of distressed faces when they see this old gray-haired dude and wonder where that boy is. Dr. Casey Wardynski received his bachelor's degree at West Point, his master's degree from Harvard University's JFK School of Government, and his doctorate in policy analysis from the Frederick S. Pardee Rand Graduate School. He was a colonel in the U.S. Army, then was the director of the Army's Office of Economic and Manpower Analysis at the U.S. Military Academy. Later, he became the chief financial officer of the Aurora, Colorado City Schools. Now, to our great fortune, he's the superintendent of Huntsville City Schools. We're proud to have him here today, Dr. Wardynski.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's now been my twice honor to be introduced by Homer Hickam. Thank you very much for that. It's a great pleasure to be here, and I thank Homer, Deborah, Tim, Tommy Battle, Tommy Bice, and of course our students from the Huntsville Center for Technology for both being here today and for making these sorts of events possible. When I look back on key events in my life, there's 30 seconds sometimes that change your world, and they can change your world for better or they can change it for worse. These are the sorts of events that change our lives for the better. They create opportunities, they spark the human imagination, and they fire our desire for discovery and creativity. And with that, we have partnered education, which helps us make all that possible. Here today, we've got leaders from education from our state, which we're grateful for their support. And we've got leaders from industry, those that provide the resources and those that convert the resources into human learning. Our students are at the foundation of this effort. They will look at these events as key 30 seconds in their life. We don't know what they'll achieve, but we know it'll be great. We know it'll be great because of the partnership with gentlemen such as Homer and Tim, the leadership of gentlemen such as Tommy Battle and Tommy Bice, and of course, those who help us recollect where we came from and help us understand where we're going, Dr. Barnum. So we really appreciate your support. And for our students, I'm in awe. The idea that fourth graders and high school students at HCT can be at the forefront of such activities is simply impressive. We're building on this effort within Huntsville City Schools. I've had the opportunity to meet with leaders such as Tim, business leaders, to learn how we can expand upon these efforts to bring it to the doorstep of more of our students where they learn every day in their schools. Career readiness in our minds is vital to college readiness. The two are synonymous. If you're career ready, you are college ready. And if you're college ready, you're career ready. And the ability to leverage these endeavors, which sparks the imagination of young adults, will be key to wrapping their minds around things that are a little less exciting, perhaps a little more mundane, but the things that help learning take place. And those are the things called numeracy and literacy. And when they understand what they can do when they're a numerate and literate adult, they'll see the benefit of that through the work of Tim, the achievements of gentlemen such as Homer, and of course the leadership of the gentlemen that are here in this room today and the ladies that are in this room today. So I thank you for this opportunity to celebrate this event, and I look forward to many, many more great steps that are sure to follow. Thank you very much.
I just can't get over how beautiful this spacecraft is. I want to take it home. Linda, my wife's here. Okay? All right, there you go. You can have it back later. I just want to admire it for a while. Tom Bombuck is president of Dynetics. He has more than 36 years of experience in missile defense and sensor systems analysis. He holds a master's degree in electrical engineering from Columbia University and a bachelor's in engineering physics from the University of California, Berkeley. He's also a graduate of Stanford University's Financial Management Program and Senior Executive Program for Growing Companies. He's not only a great manager, he is a really good engineer. Tim told me to say that. So we're just kidding. Tom?